Reed Richards, right? I guess he can stretch far enough to his body where the vampires can't fucking bite him. Like, this is a trip. This is Fantastic Four issue 21, Blood Hunt tie-in. You guys should be reading this series in general. If you guys want to know more about the Fantastic Four or just like science is shit in Marvel, give this series a chance. We saw in Arizona, right, where the Fantastic Four are staying at, that the Ben Grimm's like ancestry like place in Arizona, like a farm. And what you guys don't know is that the Fantastic Four lost the Baxter building pretty much about a year ago. Long story short with Onslaught. But Alicia and Reed want to go to this museum in New York. And Alicia tells Reed about how art is like pretty much emotional to it. And Reed doesn't understand it like scientifically because you know how that's Reed is. But Alicia's like, listen, just give it a chance. You'll like it. After the tour right at the museum, Alicia and Reed walk outside, but sun death happens. The curse the darkness comes out, and all these vampires are attacking the folk around them and them too. Reed tells Alicia like, these people are biting people and stuff. She's like, are these zombies? He's like, no, they're drinking blood. And Alicia's like, they're vampires. Like, and then Reed's like, there's no way. There's no such thing as vampires. She's like, you fucking hang out with Ghost Rider and you still don't believe in ghosts. Shut the fuck up, Reed. And Reed's like, yeah, you're right. So he stretches enough to protect Alicia, and we find out that the vampire bite can't bite through Reed's skin. And so what Reed does is that grabs all the survivors in front of the museum and blocks off the museum door, as you can see right there. And so Reed and Alicia are pretty much just like discussing like, what can we do to take out these vampires and protect these folk right here? And they're like, well, is the museum using LED lights? That can technically be like solar radiation. And that's what they do. But Reed goes around New York, like Manhattan, right, to find survivors while blocking the door of the museum, stretches around New York and saves his family and brings them back. But they realize they're running out of power. They're running out of juice. Where can we go that's kind of nearby, about half an hour away? Reed's like, Madison Square Garden. So this fucker Reed, while being at the museum still, transferring people, stretches at half an hour away, talking to like Alicia right here, while holding LED lights around him to protect them from vampires. I'm like, bro. They finally get to Madison Square Garden, turn the lights on so the vampires can't get to them, and now the survivors are safe. Now it's nighttime, like for real. Alicia asks Reed, like, do you think the kids are okay in Arizona? Because like, if this was just New York, a safety, like pretty much a rescue team would have came by, right? And Reed's like, yeah, you're probably right. She's like, well, what about the kids? The kids are gonna be dead probably. What we see in Arizona is actually Sue using like what's left of the sun, and she could bend light, right? And also like takes parts of the sun, like put holes into the atmosphere. So she's trying her best to block off the dark dimension energy, but her nose is bleeding and shit, and she can't hold off any longer. This is kind of crazy. So what happens here is that these vampires rally up the troops and work together and pretty much sacrifice a little bit of the army to push through the stadium and turn off the lights. That's what they do. This chick vampire actually cuts the wire and turns off the lights at the stadium completely. Now at the end, we see all these vampires running into the stadium. One thing I forgot to mention too, Reed did mention it could possibly burn off the infection by turning flame on, which is kind of interesting. I don't know if that's true or not, but right there, that's what Reed says. So let me know what you guys think about this comic.